Watching WLKY-TV, Channel 32, Louisville. And now, Vicki Dorch, Bruce Dunbar, Weed Yaten with the weather, and Fred Cowgill on sports. This is Channel 32 News, the Late Report.
Good evening, I'm Vicki Dorch.
And I'm Bruce Dunbar. We'll go back to Cincinnati in a few minutes for a live report from Fred Cowgill, including highlights and interviews of Game 1 of the World Series. But first, today begins the 3-week countdown to Election Day in Kentucky, and candidates are pulling out their heavy hitters.
First Lady Barbara Bush came to bat for Republicans Mitch McConnell and Al Brown this evening. As Todd Connor tells us, both candidates see her support as a big boost to their campaigns.
Barbara Bush flew into Standiford Field to give Republican Mitch McConnell one last push to retain his U.S. Senate seat. But because McConnell's still in Washington working on the budget, he had to speak to the First Lady via speakerphone.
And we've been in from early in the morning till late in the evening trying to finish up this session of Congress. And that's the only thing that would keep me from being where I would love to be tonight.
About 300 people turned out at the rally to support McConnell and the Republican Party. McConnell is trying to fight off Democratic challenger Harvey Sloan, who's also on the campaign trail today.
I'm here because Mitch McConnell is a good, decent, hard-working senator and the best person to represent Kentucky in the United States Senate.
She's probably one of the most beloved women in America right now. She has an incredible stature and is very popular. And we're very glad to have her out here representing Senator McConnell. And we think that the association will certainly benefit Senator McConnell in the weeks ahead.
But Barbara Bush didn't just lend her support to Mitch McConnell.
We've just all got to get out and work even harder for Mitch and for the other fine Republican candidates who are running this year. Candidates like Al Brown.
Al Brown is trying to unseat longtime Democratic Congressman Ron Mazzoli.
We've had a lot of very positive things happen in the campaign, a few negative things, and I think this is a tremendous boost for us.
The First Lady's visit to Louisville is definitely a feather in the cap for Republicans and Mitch McConnell, but McConnell doesn't plan to take it easy. A new campaign spot is set to air tonight, and chances are there will be many more before November 6th. Todd Connor, Channel 32 News.
Challenger Harvey Sloan is also expected to begin his TV campaign within the next week. He should have some help from the state Democratic Party. The party is producing TV campaign spots for the first time ever.
The House of Representatives has approved a budget plan backed by Democrats. The vote was 227 to 203. The measure would impose a whopping tax increase on the wealthy, cut billions of dollars from government spending, and raise the cost of Medicare benefits. Sponsors say those actions are necessary to get the federal deficit under control. However, President Bush says he'll veto the measure if it reaches his desk. He prefers a bill approved by the Senate Finance Committee, which doesn't raise taxes for the rich.
President Bush's 1,000 Points of Light theme seems to be very popular. A new Gallup poll shows more Americans are taking the theme to heart. The number of Americans doing volunteer work last year is up 23% from 1987, and the average household contributed more than $700 in charity, an increase of 20%. There's a great demand in Louisville for full-service occupational health care, and now there's a new center to help meet the need. The Jewish Hospital Occupational Medicine Center is now open at 100 High Rise Drive. The complex can take care of everything from free employment screenings to the care of minor injuries. The center has the potential of reaching more than 650 businesses and 63,000 employees.
The number of U.S. military men and women deployed in Saudi Arabia is now well over 100,000. So many they have teams of doctors to take care of them.
But taking care not to get hurt is part of intensive training taken on by all the soldiers, especially the Marines.
That's the topic of the second part of our series on Marine Corps Boot Camp. Don Grimes reports from Parris Island, South Carolina.
Yeah, big ass stay, you understand that? Yes, sir. Here we go.
Chances are no Marine will ever be this close to an enemy soldier. But this isn't about packing a punch, it's about learning to roll with them.
Hey, what are you waiting for? Punch him back.
At Parris Island, it's called Basic Warrior Training.
Haskins. Hey, sir! Ellis. Hey, sir!
3 months of intense mental and physical conditioning.
Go.
You never know, combat. You never know. We have recruits that show here that are all timid and shy, very inward. After running through boot camp and this course in particular, they're more outgoing. They're really confident with themselves.
And being ready for combat is what boot camp is all about. Marines say being ready means more than knowing how to fire your rifle. At Parris Island, the objectives are clear.
To instruct him, to force him to understand what it's going to take once he is thrust into the lion's mouth, and he's got to fight his way back out.
Cover me! Cover!
This is the combat classroom. One of the last big tests for Marines who may one day be face to face with the lion. But out here, there's still room for mistakes, still time to learn.
Crawl! Get out, Crane!
And that's how recruits like Gordon Nichols from Louisville look at it too.
Do you think about what's happening in Saudi Arabia? Is that something that is on your mind while you're here training?
Sometimes try to keep it out of your mind. Try to keep your mind on what you're doing. Concentrate so you can learn what you need to learn.
We talk a lot about it, but other than that, we just stick to business.
Not one of these young men signed up for this because of Saudi Arabia. They all raised their right hand well before the current Middle East crisis. And whether or not they will be asked to raise their weapons is not a factor here at Parris Island, only that if they are needed, they can. At the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, South Carolina, Dawn Grimes, Channel 32 News.
Tomorrow in part 3 of our series from Parris Island, you'll meet Sergeant Leroy Hold, a Louisville native living out his dream on the drill field. That's tomorrow night on the Late Report.
Now the latest on the Persian Gulf at this hour. Support for American involvement in the region is dropping. The Washington Post poll shows 60% of the people questioned believe the U.S. should keep troops in the Gulf. 5 weeks ago, 75% said we should. But Secretary of State James Baker says nothing short of total withdrawal will end the crisis in the Gulf. Saddam Hussein has hinted that he might be willing to pull out of Kuwait if he's allowed to keep certain strategic islands. Meanwhile, the Soviets are worried the Persian Gulf standoff could soon turn into a shootout. So a Soviet Mideast advisor will head overseas to discuss ways of heading off a military conflict. And Israel has begun distributing millions of gas masks to its citizens. And one other note from the Gulf. American entertainer Steve Martin visited troops today in Saudi Arabia. Martin is on a week-long USO tour with his wife. Today he joked and shook hands with the soldiers of the 24th Mechanized Infantry Division.
We're thinking of putting up a condo here. And we're just making an investment. Just want to see how it is. It's pretty nice out here. And the pool is on the other side, right? Yeah, great.
Martin will make 6 stops on his tour. In just a few minutes, we'll have more on Game 1 of the World Series.
But just ahead, Reed Yaden will have the forecast. He'll tell us about tomorrow's weather for Game 2 of the series.
And if you travel on business, it may soon cost you or your company a lot more.
Tonight's news is brought to you in part by First National Bank, coming through for you.
At First National, we're always asking our customers how we can make banking easier and more convenient. Recently, we received a lot of ideas, and now we're responding with longer hours at selected locations throughout the community. So, whether you bank in the Hurstburn, Okolona, Portland, or New Albany area, we're open longer for you.
First National Bank.
Coming through for you. 90% of the couples who are headed for divorce could stop it.
You don't get along, everyone hurts.
Should you stay together for the kids? On the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Tomorrow at 4 on 32 WLKY.
Here's the story of Big's True Minimum Pricing. You'll love the ending. True minimum prices are low prices, not specials. You see, gimmicks like specials are expensive. They force supermarkets to keep their other prices high. But true minimum prices are low prices on everything, every day, so that your total food bill at Big's will always be lower than at any other supermarket. I told you you'd love the ending. Big's, a new way to shop for food and everything else.
Since 1890, one family, 4 generations, a tradition of quality, service, selection, and value. Now, Conrad Music celebrates its 100th year in the piano business with store-wide savings on Kentuckiana's largest and finest selection. Over 400 new and used grands, studios, consoles, spinets, keyboards, and organs. You'll save hundreds of dollars at Conrad's. And you can register to win one of 100 prizes during Conrad Music's 100th anniversary sale. It's happening now at Conrad Music, 215 Hurstbourne Lane.
Visit your Estee Lauder beauty advisor today, and she'll treat you to this gift with any $12.50 purchase. Yours through October 27th at Lazarus.
A little chilly at the stadium tonight, but we had perfect seats here.
Breezy up there. Yes, you supplied the popcorn tonight. Bruce, your turn tomorrow night.
I'm going to give you green weenies tomorrow night.
Green weenies, that's right. Hey.
Oh, boy.
I think Cincinnati's biggest problem tomorrow night is going to be fighting the weather. Could end up with a rain problem tomorrow night. Pretty good chance of rain there and up here tomorrow night. But for this evening, very, very pleasant around here. A little bit breezy. Temperatures not dropping off too much. A few more degrees overnight, and that'll about do it. 64 right now with partly cloudy skies. Humidity 70%. Winds are southeast at 8. The barometer 30.06. It is falling. Weather Watcher report tonight from Paoli, Indiana. Bert Pettigo in Paoli says, hey, with this kind of weather, forget all about winter. Bert, I couldn't agree with you more. In Orange County tonight, right up Highway 150 in Indiana, in the town of Paoli, it is 62 degrees. Our high around here occurred about 5 till 5 this afternoon. Mercury inched up to 76 degrees, well above a normal high of 69 degrees. The low this morning, 44 degrees. Normal low is 46 degrees. Tomorrow morning sunrise, 7:54. Sunset tomorrow night, 7:03. Here's a current satellite for you. It shows a few clouds around here. Partly cloudy skies now. They will remain that way overnight. As the day goes on tomorrow, clouds will be increasing, though, as we prepare for the arrival of a rather strong weather system out of the Midwest. Here's my current weather map. During the night tonight, this system will move to the north as a warm front. We'll stay in some warm air overnight. Very breezy, too, so therefore I see the temperatures falling down to close to 60 degrees tonight, give or take a couple of degrees either way, and that'll be about it. Tomorrow will be very breezy and balmy, heralding the arrival of this cold front tomorrow night. A series of satellite photos go into motion now, and you see the clouds move in overnight from the southwest. That situation will persist throughout the nighttime hours. Now, by 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll have a frontal system out on our back door, and that front will be fairly strong, too, so it looks like a good chance for some thunderstorms during the nighttime hours tomorrow. Behind that front, some much cooler air will move into the area on Thursday. Here's my forecast from the Channel 32 Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight. Overnight temperatures right around 60 degrees. Many areas will fall into the upper 50s, 58, 59 degrees. Breezy tomorrow. Look for a mix of sun and clouds and a high right around 80 degrees tomorrow. Very, very balmy. On Thursday, looks like a high only 60 degrees. Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, 62, and we start to warm up in time for the weekend. So we're going to have to pay close attention tomorrow to the Cincinnati forecast, though. See if we can get that game in.
Yeah, we don't want to rain out.
No, we don't. No, the Reds are on a roll.
Thanks, Reed.
And coming up next, Rick Van Hoos will be here with sports.
He'll talk with Fred Cowgill live from Cincinnati. Will the rest of the series go this well for the Reds?
Mose Frank recommends the Carrier Weathermaker Infinity Furnace for quiet operation, long-term dependability, and energy savings. So reliable you get a full 5-year parts and labor warranty absolutely free. And Mose Frank will give you $25 if he has to make even one service call.
$25, huh? Well, I'll be seeing you guys.
Want to bet?
Get full details on this limited time offer from Carrier and Mose Frank. 896-4421.
It's happening again. Kroger is dropping prices. We've always worked to keep prices low, and now we're pushing prices even lower. On things you use every day. 15,000 low prices. And now is the time to get them, but you don't have to get them all at once. Value keeps us number one.
Tonight's news is brought to you by Walgreens. Concerned pharmacist, superior health technology, only at Walgreens.
Dear Walgreens, I'd like to tell you about my experience.
I was visiting from out of state when my wife got seriously ill. She required numerous medications, so I appreciate the low prices at Walgreens. And I'd like to thank your pharmacists. They were very considerate. Being 1,100 miles from home made Walgreens service that much sweeter.
Great Halloween parties begin at Walgreens. Candy, party decorations, masks, costumes, makeup. Everything you need for Halloween fun now at Walgreens.
Well, 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 the A's aren't invincible after all. How about that?
You say, who would have thunk it? Game 1 of the 87th World Series is in the books, and it belongs to the Cincinnati Reds. We'll take a look at it. It was a good omen. Jose Rijo strikes out Ricky Henderson to start the game, and Reds fans had to know something good was going to happen. Bottom of the first inning, they got some offense. Eric Davis, who was dormant against the Pirates in the National League playoffs, comes up with a 2-run home run. As they were bombarding Dave Stewart, they got 4 runs off of him. Eric Davis, 3 RBIs on the night. Red fans had more to cheer about in the third. Billy Hatcher with one of his 2 doubles. That scores Larkin. And the rout was on as the Reds go on to win 3-0. Fred Cowgill was on hand for tonight's action and joins us live by satellite. And Fred, Gomer Pyle would say, surprise, 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 wouldn't he?
Rick, the Reds were huge. I mean, they were huge. And let's join Hal Morris for a second to talk about this 7-0. I mean, a lot of people are surprised. Were the Reds surprised that you could hit Dave Stewart the way you did?
Well, you know, on any given night, anything could happen. And he got behind the count for a few pitches, and, you know, Eric took him out of the ballpark. But that's baseball. Anything could happen.
It's got to give you some confidence going into Game 2.
Well, you know, we're pretty relaxed. We're the underdogs. We realize that. We really don't have anything to lose. So we're just going out there and having fun, and we're going to play our game.
Now let's have Joe join us for a second. Okay. Joe Oliver, Jose Rijo was so tough today. What made him so tough?
He was working with all the confidence in the world. He was using his fastball to set up his slider and his slider to set up his fastball. It made my job really easy. I could put down any sign and he could throw for a strike.
You're catching this guy. Does he have a lot left? He left after 7 innings, which is flawless. I mean, no runs, just 7 hits.
Well, you know, I felt that he was in complete control, and we didn't want to burn him out. So Lou decided to go ahead and get to the bullpen and let them get some work, and they did a good job coming in. You know, they gave up a couple hits, but they were able to get out of it.
I'll ask you the same thing as I asked Hal. What does this do for you guys for Game 2, especially knowing that everybody seems to be picking the A's? You guys now lead 1-0.
Oh, it's a big boost. We got a lot of confidence going into tomorrow's game. You know, we got Danny throwing tomorrow, and we feel that we can play well behind him, and he's been throwing the ball well. So we got a lot of confidence about tomorrow night's game, but we're going to savor this and then go to work tomorrow.
Catcher Joe Oliver, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on a big win. Rick, the Reds lead the best of 7, 1-0 after taking a huge 7-0 win over the A's. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, thanks, Fred, very much. One of the keys, the A's left 11 runners on base. Now, for Game 2 tomorrow, it will be Bob Welch, the American League Cy Young Award winner. He won 27 games going against Danny Jackson. You can see it here on Channel 32. U of L football fans are doing more than cheering these days. They're rewarding good performances. The newly formed Crunch Zone has band together to vote and name a player of the week and present him with a Captain Crunch Award. This week, 2 players were presented with the Louisville Slugger by the fans, William Blackford and Ray Buchanan, who came up with a game-saving block field goal. And if that's not enough, the entire team was honored by the UPI coaches poll as the 25th best team in the country.
You can't deny that, but the season still has to go on, and you have to look at things in perspective and not get it blown out of proportion, you know, because we've been on the other side of the fence too long.
From the NFL, Eric Dickerson returned to practice today. He said he would never play for the Indianapolis Colts again, but he will. Dickerson had spent the last 6 weeks on the non-football injured list. Dickerson is expected to play Sunday against Denver. Trinity remains a solid #1 in this week's AP 4A high school poll. Fairdale is second with St. X 5th. Boone County and Warren Central are 3 and 4. And that brings us to our sports stumper. Trinity will go for win number 36 in a row Friday against Eastern. But what is the state record? Come up with that one, and looks like if Trinity keeps rolling right along, they may own the new record soon.
Great Game 1 of the World Series, and what was that Fred said? It's huge! It's huge!
I think Fred was excited.
I think he was. Thank you, Rick.
Coming up next, one space shuttle makes a triumphant return.
And the trial of 2 live crew gets underway, and the rap group isn't singing the blues.
Honesty, fairness, frugality. To most politicians, just rhetoric. To Joe Hogsett, a way of life. That means no free credit cards, no state car, no pay raise. Hogsett is fighting foreign hostile takeovers to protect Hoosier companies, Hoosier workers. Hogsett is cracking down on investment scams against our seniors. His office has won awards, while his budget has gone down every year. Joe Hogsett, fighting for us.
There's a change in the wind at your Toyota dealer. Bringing in the new 91 Toyotas, like the trouble-free Camry. Close call, with incentives up to $1,000. And option discounts up to $900. You could save up to $1,900. Toyota has lots of totally new 91s, but you can still save big on a 90 Toyota too, so hurry. Now is your best time to strike. See your Toyota dealer now for big savings on every 90 and all new 91s.
Lotto America, it's here, and it's the biggest thing to come to Indiana since, well, the Twins. You get 2 plays for $1, and there are drawings on Wednesday and Saturday, so stand back. Who knows how big this jackpot's going to get?
You're looking at a very sophisticated piece of equipment. At Citizens Fidelity, we use it every day to help process thousands of pieces of loan information, so you get the loan that's perfect for you every time. Now, we're not the only ones who possess this incredible banking tool. It's just we take the time to use it. At Citizens Fidelity, we listen, then we lend. Citizens Fidelity Bank, a PNC bank.
October Value Days are here with fantastic fall savings starting Wednesday. Open 9 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. at Bacon's.
Testimony begins tomorrow in the obscenity trial of the rap group 2 Live Crew.
Opening arguments were heard today in a Fort Lauderdale courtroom. A prosecutor in the highly publicized case told the jury that the band performed several acts on stage that she considered deviant sexual behavior. The band members face up to a year in prison and fines of up to $1,000 if convicted. At Bellarmine College, students found out just how quickly alcohol can impair the body as part of an alcohol awareness program. A new study indicates drinking is prevalent among young people and becomes more common as children get older. 1/3 of all students in 6th through 12th grades often go to drinking parties. The study also shows 5% of 6th graders drink, and more than half of high schoolers do.
And a study on children and safety belts suggests America's moms and dads aren't buckling their kids up like they should. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says 83% of children under the age of 4 are using child restraint seats, but restraint use falls to less than 44% for older kids. Last year, over 2/3 of all children killed in traffic accidents were not properly buckled up.
The Hubble Space Telescope is getting a new assignment. Astronomers say Hubble will begin studying a gigantic storm on the planet Saturn. Such storms appear on the solar system's 2nd largest planet roughly once every 30 years. Hubble begins the new project next month. And at Cape Canaveral, it was a busy day. Shuttles Discovery, Atlantis, and Columbia were all being moved. Discovery returned from a successful mission last week, highlighted by the launching of the solar probe Ulysses. Other shuttles were being moved out to their respective launch pads. Atlantis will be the next shuttle to fly if it passes a fueling test.
If you fly a lot on business, don't be surprised if airfares increase again soon. All domestic fares have risen an average of 10% over the past 6 weeks. Now, though, some airlines are considering another 8% hike for first class, full coach, and other unrestricted fares used by business travelers. The reason? Skyrocketing jet fuel prices. They've gone from 60 cents to more than $1.40 per gallon since late July. Eastern and Continental plan to boost their fares a week from today. And on Wall Street, the market was down 35 points, this after gaining 50 points in the last 2 sessions. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed at 2381.
Coming up next, will a real Barbara Bush please stand up?
Just ahead, you'll meet Louisville's own First Lady.
It's happening again. Kroger is dropping prices. We've always worked to keep prices low, and now we're pushing prices even lower. On things you use every day. 15,000 low prices. And now is the time to get them, but you don't have to get them all at once. Value keeps us number one.
It's been a year since he tore up that knee. Looked like he'd never play ball this year. A team of doctors did something called arthroscopic surgery. It sure worked. I would have done anything to get him well again. But I didn't have to, because we were covered by Humana.
Humana healthcare plans. They get you on the road again.
The best blueberries are the wild ones up here in Maine. So when the folks at Martha White told me how many they needed for their double blueberry muffins, I told them we'd have to pick all the berries in Maine to get that many. Now, I know putting all them blueberries in a muffin will make a lot of blueberry lovers real happy, but it's making some of the ones around here darn ornery. Okay, but just one more.
Martha White double blueberry muffins. Double the real blueberries makes them twice as good.
Looks like everyone's heard about Lazarus' big November sale.
I need shoes, bad. Dresses first, whatever.
They'll both get the lowest prices of the season.
And Jill and Johnny know how to figure 25% off Bugle Boy.
No, Toppy. This shopping spree is for me.
You won't need basketball shoes for weeks.
Yeah, but I can save on my Reeboks Now strategy. Save 30 to 35% on a couple suits, shirts, ties.
Shop with me, I'll run with you.
Run in and get savings so big, even he shops now. Lazarus' big November sale through Saturday.
Here are some of the stories we're working on for tomorrow. The rape and murder trial of David Bedell continues. Tomorrow we expect to bring you the videotaped confession of Bedell. And on tomorrow's Health Beat, how to wash your hands. It's great preventative medicine. We'll tell you how to make it fun for your kids. These stories and more coming up tomorrow. Reed?
Thank you, Bruce. World Series tomorrow night. Rain likely in the Cincinnati area. It's just a question of the timing. Let's hope everything slows down and the rain holds off till after the game. Now, for your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, well, Wednesday morning it is, depending on what time zone you're in. Partly cloudy when you head out the door tomorrow morning. Around 60, it's going to be balmy, breezy too. Sunrise 7:54. Rick.
Thanks, Reed. Don't want to rain on the Reds parade, but remember the Pirates won Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Tonight's Sports Stumper, Trinity will go for win number 36 in a row this Friday. But what is the state record? Paris in the early 80s won 38 straight. Trinity's got a couple more to go. Bruce?
You just had to bring up that Pirates victory, didn't you?
You said rain on their parade. Sorry.
In our nightcap tonight, First Lady Barbara Bush's visit to Louisville was for political reasons, but not everyone who came to see her was interested in politics. A lady from southern Indiana who closely resembles Mrs. Bush couldn't resist seeing her double. Mary Clark of Jeffersonville says all her friends tell her she looks like the First Lady. Even strangers approach her about the likeness.
Oh, they had their pictures taken with me tonight, and so they could tell someone they looked like, that had their picture taken with Barbara Bush.
Mary Clark says her twin is very sweet. And how about a late night snack? It's about that time. You're looking at the world's largest submarine sandwich. Here's what it has in it: 120 pounds of lunch meat, 130 heads of lettuce, over 200 tomatoes, and here's the topper, 960 slices of cheese. The Sandwich Assembly in Tulsa, Oklahoma kicks off a local food drive campaign to help feed the needy at Thanksgiving.
Wow, that'd make a lot of lunches, wouldn't it?
Looks good.
Yeah, it does indeed. Well, we thank you for watching, and we hope you'll tune in again tomorrow. Don't forget Game 2 of the World Series tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That's when the coverage begins. The first pitch about 8:30, Rick, right?
Somewhere in there, yeah. Depends on how long they talk in the beginning.
We'll have our rally caps on for the Reds again, right?
That's right.
And Bob Welsh against
Danny Jackson.
Right, ought to be a good game.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.